Hello and welcome to this video where we will explore the lore of the notorious Iron Warriors Legion. In this video, we will look at some AI-generated images of the Iron Warriors Legionnaires using Midjourney, a tool that can create realistic and artistic images based on text descriptions. While you enjoy the images, you will learn more about the lore and the secrets of the 4th Legion along the way. If you want to support the channel, drop a like and consider subscribing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. The 4th Legion, founded on the wreckage of a recidivist fortress, was a stalwart bastion of the Emperor during the Unification Wars. Its gene seed showed above-average adaptability and a below-average resistance rate to bionics, making it one of the largest and earliest deployed alongside the 1st and the 5th Legions. The Legion continued to distinguish itself in the conquest of the Sol system during the early days of the Great Crusade, winning honors in many battles, most notably in the Mer Yasht campaign on Venus, where the 4th Legion was commanded by the Emperor himself to defeat the deadly Lithogolem armies of the War Witches. In light of their early successes, the Legion was given first access to new equipment being delivered from Mars. The Legion led the 8th Expeditionary Fleet, which distinguished itself in many campaigns. However, they did not adapt their tactics to the new realities of the expanding crusade. Horus was impressed by their stubbornness and would use the Legion to fight inglorious but vital campaigns of attrition. One of the Legion's most tragic episodes occurred in the year 842 of Millennium 30 during the liberation of the Forge world of Enceladion. The Legion used their typical tactics of heavy artillery and armored spearheads, suffering staggering losses in a protracted siege. Nearly 29,000 legionaries died over the year-long campaign, virtually annihilating the 8th Expeditionary Fleet. The Iron Warriors' Primarch, Perturabo, was raised on Olympia, a mountainous planet divided into warring city-states. By the time the Emperor's Great Crusade reached Olympia, Perturabo was warlord to the tyrant of Lokos. As was his custom when one of his lost sons was found, the Emperor gave Perturabo rule over his home planet and relocated his legion's headquarters there. Perturabo's rule was brutal and unforgiving, with 1 in every 10 legionaries chosen to be beaten to death by his comrades. Perturabo's Space Marines inherited his military qualities, recruiting new troops from Olympia and embarking on a campaign against the nearby moon base known as the Rock of Judgment. The campaign was a stunning success, though only fragmentary records of it survive in the aftermath of the Horus Heresy. The Iron Warriors, known for their expertise in siege warfare, were often called upon to crack open enemy defenses. The Iron Warriors saw the storming of the breach as an escape from the tedium, and developed into ferocious close-quarters fighters. They even came to prefer for enemy strongholds and not to surrender, thus justifying the slaughter of everyone within once the fortresses were taken. This brutality surpassed their love for logic and mathematics in military problems, leading to the informal slang, corpse grinders. However, this term was frowned upon by imperial authorities and could even result in punishment. Given their expertise at constructing and manning fortresses, the Legion also found itself constantly diminishing in active crusading size as units were detached from it to act as garrison troops watching over worlds in the process of compliance. The most famous of these garrisons was that of the Iron Keep on Delgas II, where a single 10-marine squad of Iron Warriors watched over a disgruntled population of 130 million. It is unknown why the Iron Warriors were so often selected for such assignments, or why Perturabo always accepted such orders without protest. But it is supposed that it began to inflict serious damage to the Legion's morale. In particular, they were aggrieved by the Imperial Fists, whose Primarch, Rogel Dorn, often boasted about the impregnability of the defenses they had constructed around the Imperial Palace on Terra. They maintained a cold and rude relationship with their fellow Space Marine legions. As we already mentioned, to the Imperial Army they became known as the Corpse Grinders for the high casualties their forces experienced under Iron Warriors' command. Thus Imperial Army regiments began to mutiny rather than be placed under Iron Warriors' command or continue with their bloody attacks. The Iron Warriors' disillusionment with battles like the Saktrata Deeps campaign led to a tragic explosion of despair and rage when they learned that Olympia had revolted against Imperial rule. Perturabo led his legion away from the extermination campaign and led them homewards, causing the planet to be battered into submission. He ordered cities to enact decimation, burning cities and killing over 5 million inhabitants. Some Iron Warriors refused to participate in the genocide, and they were struck down. The Legion felt aghast at their actions and decided to move to the Istvan system. The galaxy had turned upside down, with Horus rebelling against the Emperor and the Space Wolves slaughtering the Thousand Suns on Prospero. Horus promised Perturabo forgiveness and commended him for his genocide, and Perturabo swore a secret oath of loyalty to the War Master. The Iron Warriors, under Perturabo's command, were ordered to join the second assault on the traitor's position on Istvan V. Instead, they declared their allegiance to Horus and attacked their former brothers of the Raven Guard and the Iron Hands. Following the drop site massacre, the Iron Warriors ambushed the Imperial Fists fleet at Fall. Perturabo and his Iron Warriors were trapped in the Eye of Terror. Transported across the warp to the Talon system, they discovered the Black Oculus and planned to acquire it. The raid turned into a protracted conflict, with over 1 million armored vehicles fighting across the desert. The Iron Warriors were forced to retreat without the cursus, and Perturabo launched a mass recruitment program to replenish their strength. After Talon, the Iron Warriors were assigned to guard worlds to the rear of Horus' front that since the death of the Ruined Storm were now threatened by the advance of the Ultramarines. The Iron Warriors took heavy losses and found themselves in a situation similar to that of the Great Crusade. This situation was interrupted when Perturabo received orders to find Angron and muster at Ullanor in preparation for the siege of Terra. Despite having to abandon large amounts of warriors and worlds they bitterly bled for many years, Perturabo dutifully obeyed. Though many Iron Warriors were lost in the ensuing redeployments, Perturabo succeeded in arriving at Ullanor with Angron and his World Eaters. During the siege of Terra, Perturabo became the face of Horus' war to the Loyalists, engaging in the ultimate siege against his rival brother Rogel Dorn. The Iron Warriors led the assault against the Lion's Gate spaceport and Gorgon Bar. Perturabo realized that the war was no longer one of Legion versus Legion, and the ultimate test against his brother Rogel was now tainted. The final straw for Perturabo came after Horus informed Perturabo that he was to disperse his Iron Warriors amongst the various war zones and that his position was to be taken over by Mordorion and the Death Guard. Finally, having had enough, Perturabo ordered the Iron Warriors to evacuate Terra and withdrew to the Iron Blood. Horus was defeated by the Emperor, and the Iron Warriors retreated into the Eye of Terror. Olympia, assaulted by the Imperial Fists and Ultramarines, held out for 2 years. When defeat approached, the Iron Warriors triggered their own missile stockpiles, transforming the planet into a barren wasteland. The remaining Iron Warriors dispersed across the galaxy, digging into the Empire of Iron and continuing to be a thorn in the Imperium side. Perturabo soon devised and enacted the one real victory for the Iron Warriors in the immediate aftermath of the Horus Heresy. He crafted a trap on Sebastus IV, designed to ensnare Rogel Dorn and the Imperial Fists, with whom Perturabo and his warriors harbored a bitter rivalry. This trap was known as the Eternal Fortress, a keep centered within 20 square miles of bunkers, towers, minefields, trenches, tank traps and redoubts. Rogel Dorn expected an honorable battle, but this was not to be. The fortress was a decoy of no real value. By the 6th day of the siege, Imperial Fists Space Marines were fighting individually, without support, using the bodies of their own battle brothers for cover. Relief came only in the form of Rabuta Guilliman and a force of Ultramarines. The sacrifice of over 400 Loyalist Marines' gene seeds paved the way for Perturabo's ascension to Demon Prince. Perturabo crowned the world of Medrengard as the new home of the Legion. A major crisis hit the Iron Warriors in the 34th millennium, when a civil war shattered the Legion into various warbands. The Iron Warriors pay homage to the Chaos Gods as a pantheon, though few of them are especially devoted. Their primary loyalty is to Perturabo, who they view as having been saved from being sacrificed in the galactic ambitions of the Emperor. In the aftermath of the 13th Black Crusade, the Iron Warriors have expanded into the Imperium Nihilus, raising enormous, hideous citadels in their wake, monuments of their own malice, cruelty, and ego. These are often jagged towers, surrounded by living razor wire and demon-haunted trenches. They hold a particular reputation as warp masons and martial engineers as a result of this. This was all for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing these AI-generated images of the Iron Warriors Legion and learning more about their history and culture. If you liked this video, Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. And remember, iron within, iron without.